Welcome back to the Crypto Report, everybody. I hope you're doing well today. This is so annoying what is going on right now in the crypto space. The prices are stagnant. We've been waiting for an altcoin season. There's a new hurdle for crypto, a hurdle that we all thought that we already jumped over. After all the progress we made over the last few years, but we still have a lot to get through and some new things. As things were seemingly getting better for the crypto industry, it seems like they might have just gotten worse. And I think you already know what I'm talking about here. The president and the meme coin is coming back to bite us all in the butt. Here we've got bills being maybe rejected by the Senate. People that were on board with the stablecoin bill are now off board with the stablecoin bill. Impeachment things happening. This is the crypto president. It was supposed to be a good thing, but is it? Is it? I'm really curious your thoughts in the comments down below. Welcome back, everybody. Even though things are a little annoying right now, I remain bullish, and I will continue to remain bullish. Doesn't this song kind of remind you of like White Lotus? Kind of does. Yeah, kind of does. I remain bullish, guys. In the long term, there is so much to be excited about for this asset class, and just a couple hurdles in our way that are quite annoying. The UK, whether or not they're going to put out a strategic Bitcoin reserve, we have an answer on that. I'm going to share with you today. I want to talk about some crime happening in crypto of the kidnapping type. And I want to talk about, obviously, our price action on our top coins, our top altcoins, our top memes, all these things. So without further ado, welcome back. Tap the like button, subscribe to the channel. How's it going to the chat? Shout out to Crypto Runner, Crypto Keeper, Servando Estrada, Miller Frank, David, Papa, Uncle Len. My Uncle Len is in the chat. I don't have an Uncle Len, but I do now. The one, talking about that one YouTuber who's hating on us, apparently. That's so good. The one and everybody else. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's do the thing, guys, and hop right in. Let's share the screen. You know how it works. Let's do a look at the charts, and then from there we will get into, we'll do our big gainers, big losers. We'll look at some charts. We'll get into the news, and then we'll circle back for a little Q&A. You know what I'm talking about. Forget about it. Okay. And then, oh my creeks. I like that name. Oh my creeks. What is that about? I wonder what that's about. What a name, huh? The one says, I told you, Kip, there will never be a crypto reserve. Also, they will always be taxes on crypto. What, in the UK? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Brandino does not like what the president is doing with the economy. And, hey, the charts wouldn't lie. Now, the S&P 500 is coming back a little bit, but it's been a struggle bus since the beginning of the term. And for crypto, we have really only had downside, kind of, since the president's been in power. But he's supposed to be the crypto president. This is so annoying. This is so annoying. And so many other things. First up, let's do this, guys. Got a couple coins that are up today. Not too much at all. Monero's getting a little bit of a move up today. Dexy getting a little bit of a move up today. But these are weak performances for the crypto asset class. A coin being up 4.38% is not a big deal. In fact, that is a bad day for crypto. And there's the reality of what's going on. Most things are kind of coming down 5 to 10% right now. Some of the other lower cap altcoins obviously coming down a little bit lower. And with this, what we're seeing, oh no. What we're seeing is Bitcoin dominance, just dom, the narrative. We've got a 65% Bitcoin dominance now, officially breaking through this ascending wedge, which is typically bearish, but we're moving higher. We're breaking to the bullish side of the ascending wedge and moving up maybe to that 72, 73% range for Bitcoin dominance. And then, and only then, do we have a level that really makes sense. Probably the most sensible level for us to kind of get a rejection for Bitcoin dominance and then a move back to the downside for Bitcoin dominance. And once we get that move, that's your altcoin season that you've been very patiently waiting for and not getting rewarded on. Here's Solana versus Bitcoin, stumbling, bumbling, crumbling back down. That is 3 umbling words for you. And it's not just Solana versus Bitcoin. Let's look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Yowza, not looking too good. I don't like that. How about XRP versus Bitcoin? XRP strong, right? Ooh, sorry. No, nothing is strong versus Bitcoin right now. XRP is a little bit stronger. This bump was nice. Is XRP going to come back down to these lows versus Bitcoin? If it did, you would see XRP underperform versus Bitcoin. Come down. Can XRP come down 69% versus Bitcoin? Guys, it is possible. If XRP loses the $2 price level, right now we're finding that $2.10 level. We could get a bounce here. Look out for $2 though, okay? These are some of those trading levels that I've been talking about. If you want to do some trades, I told you guys we could easily come back down to $2.10 from these highs. You could have shorted XRP from $2.30 something cents. It's an 11% move to the downside. It's just printing money if you're making good trades, guys. Okay, so this is something we've been talking about on ad nauseum. If you want to sign up for Blowfin and do some trading of your own, just sign up using the link down below. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Boom. I see we lost the screen share. Let's get that back. I don't know why that happens. I don't have the answers for you, but I do have the solutions. Okay. Okay. So yeah, looking at a level of support at $2 for XRP. Look, if we got Cleary's beef in the chat. How you doing? We got, yeah. I mean, could we see XRP come back down, to $1? If we did see it come back down to what, $1 would be there. So let's look at $1 would be a nice, 50% crash. So if Bitcoin came up just a little bit more and started to get closer to the highs slowly, which it seems to kind of be doing regardless of what's going on with altcoins, Bitcoin dominance is climbing higher, even though the Fed is struggling with rates. And we're going to talk more about the Fed and rates, not too much in this video because I've just been relentless on some of that. But we do have Bitcoin showing some strength. Bitcoin dominance, obviously, showing that strength. But the price of Bitcoin being at 94K, as there is so much uncertainty with the Fed and rates right now, is a good sign for Bitcoin. So as there are some annoying things happening that I want to discuss with you, Bitcoin is looking nice. The way that an XRP and other coins can fall significantly lower versus Bitcoin is if we get this trend to continue. Okay, we get this trend to continue with Bitcoin dominance going up, more fear of a delay in the rate cuts, and you've got Bitcoin coming up a little bit slowly or holding strong, and altcoins slipping. If altcoins slip and Bitcoin goes up a little, then you get those moves. Even if XRP only comes down to the $1 level and comes down to 50%, that for that XRP BTC move is the way that you could see, XRP get back down to this low versus Bitcoin. That's a 70% move versus Bitcoin. And again, I'm not saying these things are going to happen, guys. I'm just saying these could happen. These are the things that you look at, right? and this is kind of what we peek at, right? Bitcoin dominance is important to consider. And look when you had this giant spike up for XRP, anytime in the past, there's typically a pretty big slip back down. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if XRP retested that level for Bitcoin, for itself versus Bitcoin, or even right at, kind of right in there, because we've danced around these levels, reject, bounce on the end of that green wick. I don't know what this giant red wick is. It was a flash crash. So now, could we just zoom to the upside? Yeah. All of a sudden, Bitcoin rips past 100. The whole market would come with it, but we're certainly not out of the woods yet. And then Solana, looking at Solana versus BTC. Solana could very easily come back down to, versus BTC. It could easily come back down again, another 60, 70%. There could be another 60, 70% sell-off for alts versus Bitcoin. Okay. My level for Solana would be, $79 again. And then from here, it's like a 45% move to the downside versus the dollar. Again, if Bitcoin just trickles up a little bit and Solana comes down 45%, there you go. You've got that like 70 or 60% move to the downside for Sol versus BTC. That's just the way that I look at it. Okay, guys. So the one in the chat does not like Brad Garlinghouse. What a name, huh? What a name for that guy. Anyway, so we looked at some of these charts. We're giving you guys some of the warnings. Look, I am not a bear. I'm a bull. But I do want to be frank with you guys and tell you that just because I'm bullish in the long term doesn't mean that I have to be bullish every single second, right? We might have another correction, and here's the reason why. Let's get into the annoying part. Thank you for that segue, Cleary's Beef. Appreciate you, Crypto Runner. Yeah, trying to give the analysis. Bitcoin stumbles as Trump threatens tariff ahead of Fed decision. So we have a tariff threat. We talked about this yesterday. Threatening movies and the movie industry, okay? International movies specifically. And then you've also got the Fed decision. Unfortunately, guys, and it's just the reality of the situation. The May meeting, you're not getting a rate cut. In the June meeting, you're not getting a rate cut anymore. You were, now you're not. And in July, there's a 23% chance that you're still not getting a rate cut, and that frankly sucks. He said the F word. Generally I'm pretty clean. I feel like the word sucks is a bad word. I don't like it. That's as potty mouth as we'll get on this channel. But I don't like it. I don't like it. I understand why it's happening. The Fed is scared of tariffs. Everybody's scared of tariffs. There's a lot of tariff threats going around. And tomorrow, okay, for a second I thought I missed it. Tomorrow, we're going to live stream the FOMC meeting. So, get ready for that, guys. Tomorrow, we're going to live stream the FOMC meeting. And during this meeting, if the Fed comes out and he is too hawkish, we are going to probably slip a little bit lower, especially for altcoins. Why? Because, as I've said over and over again, you need the rate cuts to get the altcoin pump. It doesn't make sense, but it's just what it is. Okay, guys? It doesn't make sense when you think about it. It's like, what could the Fed have anything to do with meme coins? Well, it has a lot to do with risk on assets, period. Inherently, though, as things get more spooky with the Fed and inflation, I want you guys to remember this. And there was such a good ad that came out just the other day. And in this commercial, they're showing, these Bitcoin. You could fit all 21 million Bitcoin in a single little box like this, a small little box like this. And then in a day or in like a year or something, they've got, what do they say? I think it's like in a day. All right. Or every like month or something. This is how much money the Fed prints. So you got one little container here. And then you've got this giant set of containers that the Fed would fill their dollars with that they printed. And then if you start looking at the year, this block here is the year. Okay. This is over the last year. That's the Bitcoin. That's how much space Bitcoin takes up. This is how much space the dollars that the Fed takes up. And then the last decade is this last giant box here. There's the Bitcoin box. It barely fits on the pointer of my mouse. And that is all the money the Fed has printed over the last decade. The crazy part is this small amount of space that this Bitcoin takes up, this is the only amount of space that the Bitcoin is ever going to take up. Now, of course, we're excluding the mining facilities and the miners. But think about how much money the government prints. This is unbelievable, this graphic. And I think it's such a good thing to understand. And the thing that got me into crypto in the first place was when I understood how currency came to existence. You know, it started with like this for that. I'll trade you this sheep for that, you know, field of hay or whatever. Then it was like, oh, here, like, we're going to just assign value to these seashells. And then we're going to do like rocks. And then we're going to do like, you know, I'll give you these rocks with this little carving on it, which is now a coin. And then we're going to make it out of metals and we're going to do coins. And then the king is going to say, well, this is the only metal that we accept in England, you know, and in Spain. And this is all we're going to accept here, these coins. And then the coins went to bills and notes, and then these were promissory notes that were backed by eventually gold, and then eventually the US went off the gold standard, and now we just print money out of thin air. So my point is, if you're upset about the inflation and you're worried about inflation and you think that it's going to kill crypto, actually, even though it might cause some fear and some volatility in the short term, because when the Fed speaks, he opens his big yapper. Markets like to panic when he gets all hawkish, fine. But if you really think out and you, pun intended, zoom out and you look at the big picture says that gold is the off-ramp to the ridiculous system that revolves around the Fed, the printing of the dollar, the strange monetary policies of the quantitative tightening, easing, squashing, squishing, all these things. It's important. However, not everybody sees it that way. Now, as some people within the U.S. government are starting to understand that, now we've got a national strategic reserve that is brought forth by this president, this very controversial president, this president that launched a meme coin, and now people are threatening to impeach him over it, which is super annoying. Super annoying he launched a meme. Super annoying there's problems as a result of the meme. It's just all super annoying. But the U.S. government is doing a strategic reserve, and they understand it. UK rejects a national crypto reserve. This is breaking news, breaking crypto news. UK rejects a national crypto reserve, but backs blockchain for sovereign debt. Of course, they're going to use blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is excellent. Oh, Scossum, I missed your super chat. Thank you very much for that super chat. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It was a great ad, but I never use Coinbase. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't really use Coinbase anymore either. But, you know, while the U.S. understands the value of a Bitcoin reserve, the UK says, nah, and they're going to keep doing what they do. It looks like they want to use, considering more immediate uses for blockchain. Well, great. And that's important. And that's one thing that I always said. It's like, just because, and that was kind of one of my battles for XRP, though it looks like XRP is going to be getting adopted in a big way. One of my issues that I historically had with XRP is like, just because there's a network that people could use to transact on, and the banks could use to transact on the XRP ledger, doesn't mean they're going to. Why don't they just come out with their own blockchain and then just do their own thing? Well, that's kind of what UK's doing here. You know, they're going to use blockchain technology, but it looks like they don't want to use, you know, the Bitcoin network or Ethereum or Cardano. Maybe they want to come up with their own. Let's see how secure it is. Let's see how good it is. Let's see if they do tap into one. We don't have any say as to like what they're actually going to use, but they don't really like Bitcoin, I guess. So they don't really like Bitcoin in the UK, which is interesting. So it is a little shocking. You know, it's going to be interesting to see, because if the strategic reserve for Bitcoin in the United States is successful, and Bitcoin is successful, which we think it will be here, and China is talking about a national strategic reserve, UK could really get left behind if everybody adopts the Bitcoin reserve and Bitcoin does really well, and they don't. You know, they could really get left behind on the globe stage financially. Just at least in this category, it could turn out to be big. Simon Kelly says, is that top in? You know, I don't think so. You know, I don't think so. No, I remain bullish, but I'm still acknowledging, you know, some concerns surrounding the Fed. We've got a father that was recently kidnapped of a French crypto millionaire, which is kind of crazy. I did a video talking slightly about this the other day, and just if you know, have made money in crypto, or you're making a ton of it, you know, don't go bragging about it, because then, you know, somebody, you know, could be at risk. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful, guys. French police rescued the father of a cryptocurrency millionaire who had been kidnapped and held for ransom in Paris suburb. So what a wild time to be alive. They got him back. They got him back, which is pretty cool. I wonder, the criminals had demanded 10 million euro ransom. 6 men and women were arrested in connection with this case. He was found alive in the boot of a car. He was in the trunk of a car. That's crazy. I tried to extort money from his son. That's wild. Did they get any money from him? It looks like they didn't. Yeah. So I guess in France, you know, they like to kidnap crypto people in France. So don't talk about crypto in France, I guess. I don't know. Simon Kelly says, what's more likely, a new all-time high or a bloodbath? Why not both? I say both, Simon. I say both. I still lean, you know, I just got a bad feeling about all these political games we're seeing. I mean, how many stories have you seen about, look at this. Just look at this real quick. House Democrats walk out of crypto hearing citing Trump's crypto corruption. House Democrats storm out of, this is everything. This is what's being reported right now. Crypto news, you search crypto news, you know, that's what you get. That's kind of what you're getting right now. That's the news. Talking about Trump and ethics and crypto. It seems like they're trying to suppress these markets. It seems like maybe the strategy is to suppress these crypto markets to allow more of these big dogs to get in. Maybe they just truly hate it, or maybe they just hate the president so much that They actually think this is a good move. And like, I understand that the meme coin launch was a bad idea. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was funny. I thought it was fun. I think it could pump still. But it's probably not good, because here we are. But if you just forget all that, you know, Michael Saylor came out and said something great the other day. One day AI will want to buy Bitcoin, and it probably will. Because are you telling me that the thing with the guy with the gray hair, the Fed Chair Jerome guy with the money printer and the, you know, the money printer with just printing dollars, you're telling me that this guy and the printing machines and the board with the governors and the speech that he gives at the press conference tomorrow, which we're going to live stream, by the way, and these congressmen and these senators on left, right, up, down, center, all these people with their biases and their lining in their pockets, and then they're getting foreign deals here, deals over there, deals from the bank, deals from this industry. You're telling me that all that is better than Bitcoin? No. AI is going to see right through it, and AI is going to pick Bitcoin. It's obvious. It's obvious. It's obvious. There's got to be something better than the dollar. There is. It's Bitcoin. That's how I feel about it. That's how Michael Saylor feels about it. And it's just why we're so excited for the future here. Looking at the Bitcoin rainbow chart, there's so much room for more upside in this cycle. Some people are saying that these 4-year cycles are dead. Maybe. It could be. I just don't know. Sorry, one second. Maybe it is. Breaking news. We got Dozy Wozies. Little Tozy Wozies in the chat. Could we get... We don't have Tozy Wozies. We got a smiling little girl, though. Hi. My daughter is the cutest thing in the world. Hey. Oh my gosh. My smiling little queen. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, this little nugget. She's so cute. The 4-year cycles could be over, guys. They really could be. But I'm still not going to lean into that, you know? I'm just still not going to lean into it. Instead, I'm going to look at history. I'm going to say, well, hey, where we're at right now, we're still on track. We're still coming up from the bottom of the blues, but you know, we could, I don't know, we could touch back down to this stuff. Fire sale 68K. If you see Bitcoin come back down to 65K, which is our previous 2021 high, you could easily see Bitcoin touch the bottom of this before maybe continuing higher. I think we could touch the yellow bar. I think we could. It's 240. It's possible. I think it's possible. I was very impressed with April. We had a recovery there, but May's not looking great because of the Fed, frankly. All right, I'm going to take a seat. Let's do a little Q&A, guys. Let's do a little Q&A. Selling may walk away, says Simon Kelly. Maybe it is that. Maybe it is that. Though it's not always that, you know. Selling may walk away. Careful. I mean, imagine if you had sold a May and walked away in 2017. 52% you would have missed out on. 10%, another 17, another 65%. Oh, another 7% dip. Just imagine if you walked away and you missed the whole run. 2017. Sell May walk away. Emmy.Crow, how's it going? How's it going? Yeah. Anyway, I mean, guys, yeah, I am crypto's next big hurdle. What's the big takeaway from this stream? Politics. Sorry. Politics is crypto's next big hurdle. The president, politics, political parties, alignments, political games. That's your hurdle. And it is so annoying. Papa says, I sold it all. Had some stuff come up. I'm good, though. I'm still here. It's all right, Papa. You're still here. You're paying attention. A lot of time left in crypto. I think we got the big run coming at some point, but maybe you do have a little time. Maybe you do have a little time. Selling may go away, but maybe not in a potential BTC decoupling. Now, I could get behind like the BTC decoupling. There's a world where like Bitcoin keeps going and stocks slow down and altcoins slow down. Again, because just like it is the perfect hedge against all this BS. Clearsby talking about another ETH upgrade. I'll tell you, these ETH upgrades have been extremely underwhelming, Mr. Beefy. Every time I ever like tracked an ETH upgrade, it just never did anything. How we doing, David? Yeah, what is this Pectra upgrade anyway? What is the next Pectra upgrade? Pectra, Ethereum, squeezing immediate zeros and volatility. Woman is an elevating tension when Ethereum Pectra fork goes live. Tomorrow. There's roughly a 12-minute period. Oh, it's a hard fork coming up. Well, they've never had an issue before, but there's concerns, FUD, of it just like blacking out and the network staying not live for an extended period of time. It's probably going to be fine. It's probably going to be fine and still plenty expensive and less enticing than Bitcoin. Actually, I didn't even hear about this upgrade. See, I've been like not even worried about Ethereum lately. You know? Or I guess I have been worried about Ethereum lately. I guess that's what I'm saying. You think big ETH come back? Maybe. Daniel EFX says Doge prediction go. ETF this year, $1. $1. If we get like the real bull cycle thing pop off before the end of the year, then like maybe $2, but I feel like $1 at some point this year should be achievable. Now, if we're going out of the 4-year cycle thing and we're just like gonna start rising steadily over the next 4 years, then like sometime in the next 4 years, like yeah, like $2, $3. I believe it's possible. Dogecoin is inflationary though, so that's not great. MBs, what do you think of Sensei and OORT? Ooh, I don't really know anything about either of those. Wow. Yeah. AI agents. Not on any major exchanges. It's on maxi. It's on Bitunix. Very low market cap, it looks like. What's this market cap? Does it even say? 20 million, 10 million market cap. Really risky. Really risky. I'll follow it. I like this little dojo looking thing though. Crypto Keeper, you like this one? What where'd you guys find out about this? How did this one come up? This one looks kind of familiar. It's another AI play, I assume. Yeah. It's on KuCoin. Yeah, just, I mean, another like ChatGPT, Google, Gemini, OpenAI, Sora. So like just another competitor. This one's a $20 million market cap. Interesting. 171K followers. Man, there are just so many cryptocurrencies, so many AI projects. It's unbelievable. Turbo. Yeah, I know Turbo. It's a meme. You're saying they're killing it? How's it doing well right? Is it doing well right now? It's doing fine. I mean, it's doing fine. Wow, nice over the last month. 240% over the last month. Shockingly strong for a meme. ZBCN. What's that? ZBCN. That sounds familiar. Yeah, the ZBack network. Look, I've heard this. I've heard of this one. It's a decent sized market cap. There's a lot of money in it. I think that it's nice that it has all these major exchange listings, so volume can come pouring into it easily. Big investments by Circle, Coinbase, Solana Ventures, Briar Capital, Republic. Probably pretty decent. Probably pretty decent just looking at the backers. AI-based PayFi and DPIN. So just like buzzword. We got to get the buzzwords in there. It's funny. Everybody's chasing buzzwords. You remember when Facebook went to Meta? It's a little bit of what we got going on here. Yeah. Trendy. Yeah, up 100% over the last month. That's really nice. There you go. Can I see Doge correcting to 50 cents after the FOMC meeting? Yeah, absolutely. 14.4. Maybe even 13. It's possible. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Simon Kelly asks, do I still hold any memes? Actually, no memes right now. Yeah. Major alts right now. Major alts, Bitcoin focused, major alts, all the major alts I talk about. But that's where I'm at. All right, guys, that's all I got. I got a jet, more work to do. Appreciate all you guys. Yeah, thanks for bringing it to my attention. It's interesting. That's for sure, MB. Appreciate you. Ciao, ciao. DCA, like, appreciate it. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. If you want to do some trading, you can sign up for Blowfin using the link I got pinned for you. Really great trading opportunities here with all this volatility, especially with the FOMC tomorrow. Get ready. We're going to live stream FOMC tomorrow. Be prepared for it. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.